Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 13th. Today is the last day of the Boston Seafood Show, and of course, as you can see here, it's much quieter and is typical for the final day when a lot of people have already left. Yesterday, the show was still quite busy and very successful, and in our stories today, we have a number of company announcements and news releases. However, one of the things that struck me about this show is that given the interest on the part of more overseas companies, particularly Chinese companies, in coming into this U.S. market, I think there's been a fair amount of activity in terms of these companies picking up representatives or people who are going to start being their importer or import representative. And of course, because a lot of these companies are relatively small, it raises the question as to how successful they'll be at navigating issues like product integrity, full net weight, and so forth that is required to sell quality products in the U.S. The downside of our statement yesterday that the U.S. is becoming a very attractive market is that it's also seen as the place to try to sell stuff that is adulterated or is pumped full of water or in some other way doesn't meet the required spec. So there's both a good and a bad message here. Obviously, the good message is it's a very healthy market, it's a very attractive market, but the negative message is we're likely to see an upswing in some of the problematic issues with imports that should really not be here as a result. However, the larger companies, of course, are operating on a completely different track. The large Vietnamese companies, the large Chinese companies, they actually can do the controls and do the work necessary to increase and expand what they have to sell. So that's one take from the show. It's been very successful. Another thing we've noticed is a lot of the politicians have been here, and I particularly want to call attention to Alaska Governor Sean Parnell's trip, which was a real statement of support for the Alaskan seafood industry, and we wrote a short story about that as well. So, in Boston, Mass, on the final day of the seafood show, this is John Sackton.